Good morning, happy Sunday. Deep subject today, abandonment, tip of the iceberg. As those that follow me know, I have written 9 books. I've written 3 books for adults and 6 books for kids. One of the books that I've written is called But I Miss Them. And it's a short book, I think it's maybe 30 pages, written for ages, I don't know, maybe 2 to 10 or 12. But I think, from what I understand from those that have purchased it and those that I have sent copies to, it hits adults harder than it hits kids. Because it helps kids understand and express how they feel when they come home from school and they open the door thinking they're going to see mom and mom's gone. Grandma's there. Where's mom? Well, she's gone. Well, when's she coming back? I don't know. It helps kids who are suddenly being thrust into foster care, who's dealing with the death of a parent, moving away from a parent, just all kinds of issues. That is, when we talk abandonment, that's kind of what people immediately think about, is a parent walking out on a child, a parent being incarcerated, going to rehab, things like that. Oh, no, sweetheart. No. That does happen, and yes, that is a form of abandonment, but wait. How many times, as a parent, you're busy, you have things going on in your life, and your child comes to you and says, Mom, 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 or Dad, 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 whichever, and you say, look, I'm busy, I don't have time, I'm fixing dinner. Can't you see I'm on the phone? It has to wait. Just go play. Go read a book. Go do your computer stuff. How many times do you say that in a week? Every time you do that, you're rejecting your child. That's abandonment. Now, if you go back in 20 minutes after you're off the phone or finished doing whatever you're doing, and you say, okay, let's sit down. What's going on? Let's talk. Well, that's fixing the situation. But how many parents do that? They don't. They're so caught up in their own world. And it's also a learned behavior. Their parents probably did it to them. I know my parents did it to me. And I was very cognizant raising my son. And my son's a great dad, and he does not do that to his child. But it becomes a way of life. And children get used to hearing that. And through the eyes of a child, everything is magnified 1,000,000 times. They can't find a library book. To them, it's the end of the world. They're having trouble with a teacher. They're being bullied. Somebody made fun of them. They failed a test. They don't understand, how to do the new math, what we consider new math. They're having issues. They need to talk. Maybe they're having nightmares. Any number of things. They need you. They need to talk to you. And you tell them, can't you see I'm doing laundry? Can't you see I'm fixing dinner? I'll talk to you later. Just go. You're telling them. Every time you do this to them, you are telling them, you don't matter to me. Your problems don't matter to me. Go away. And they will. And once they hear this enough, over and over through 10 or 12 years, it's going to stick that they don't matter to you, that their problems don't matter to you, that they have to figure it out for themselves because you don't care. And I'm sure I have people watching this that are saying, hey, I'm a damn good parent. I do this and this and this and this and this for my kid. Well, that's fine, but do you talk to them? Do you know who their best friends are? Do you know what's going on at school? Do you know who they're chatting with on the computer? You have any idea? Because I bet you don't. Dinner conversation. Is it growling, bitching, and complaining? Or do you talk about, what's going on in everybody's day? Non-judgmentally. Because if you go in to talk to your child and they start telling you, I can't find my library book, and, it's a week late and I'm going to have to pay, I don't know, a quarter, for a late fee, and you rip into them instead of saying, okay, I will help you look for it, and, I'll pay the library fine, but you're going to pay me back by doing X, Y, Z, and you help them. Or do you just rip into them, like a monkey on a cupcake, and chew them out, tell them that's their problem. They better figure it out. You're not paying for a new book if they can't find it. Your child's not going to come to you. Every time you do this, you're abandoning them emotionally. It adds up. From ages 0 to 10 or 12 are what I call the building block years. That is when a child is learning how to cope. And it's a learned behavior. They are learning by the environment they live in. If they live in a toxic environment of abuse and violence and alcoholism and drug addiction, well, they learn that in our family, when things get stressful and chaotic or people get mad, they hit each other and they drink and they walk out and they do this and this and this. Because in my family, in my personal family, in my life, that never happened. But in this child's family, well, in my life, this is norm. It's not the norm. And then you have other families, similar to the family I grew up in, they talk. Somebody gets mad, they have a conversation. There's never violence. They talk. That's how you teach kids how to cope. It's a learned behavior. What are you teaching your child by example? And if you're teaching them that they don't matter, that falls on you. Because by the time they're, junior high, high school age, which for those that are not in America, that would be ages, 12 to 18. They have problems. Peer pressure, drugs, alcohol, tests. They start planning for college very young now. And your child knows they can't come to you with it because you don't care, or if you do care, you're going to yell at them. So they're going to find somebody they can trust. They're going to find someone they can talk to. And this, in the child's eyes, this person is wonderful just because they listen. In the eyes of the parent, it could be a nightmare. It could be a pedophile. It could be someone involved in sex trafficking that's grooming your child to lure them away from your home, and you'll never see them again. I see this happen. And then when it does happen, and your child doesn't come home from school, and you call the police come to the home, and they say, okay, what's going on in your child's life? Nothing, everything's great. It's not. But you just refuse to see it for what it is. No, everything's fine. Well, who are their friends? Oh, I don't know. I think it's this kid by the name of Mary. No, that's not it. Is it Beth? You don't even know. Well, what are they doing on their laptop? Oh, I don't know, just homework, I guess. Do you watch their phone? Well, no, it's their phone. You're not even involved in your child's life. You're not plugged in. What I want parents to do, and I know this sounds very harsh, and I'm glad it does, because it's a bit of a wake-up call. Put your phone down. Pull your head out of your ass, because this is your child. You brought the child into the world. It is your responsibility. Till that child is 18 years old and goes to college, that child is your responsibility. Talk to them. Find out what's going on in their life, who their friends are, what's going on at school, what projects are due, if they are interested in sports, who they like, who they don't like, who they have a crush on, who's bullying them. Monitor their phones. Check their photos, all their chats, check for hidden apps, check their computer, and don't tell me, well, that's an invasion of their privacy. Because there may come a time when you're going to need that information to save their life. And then you're going to think, well, maybe it wasn't such a big invasion of privacy. Your child is worth it. And if they don't like it, they can get over it. They will. They'll growl and they'll groan. They shouldn't have anything to hide, And maybe they're afraid for you to find out that they're swearing, in their phone. They're using bad language. Okay. Well, tell them, you prefer that they don't use those words. And they're smart enough to use, a better vocabulary. But you need to find out what kind of pictures are in their phone. You need to find out who they're talking to. Do not abandon your child. Do not emotionally abandon your child. Don't just, and I do know families. I think of several families right off the top of my head. They're having issues with their kids. Their kids are in junior high. And, and I talk to them and they'll say, it's just not worth the argument with them. Really? This is what you're teaching your child, is that they are not worth an argument? Okay, that tells me a lot. Well, I just don't need, I have fights, with my husband. I have fights, at work. I have this battle and this going on and that going on. I don't care. You have a child. That child is your first priority. That child comes first. Don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you don't want, you don't want the argument. They're going to scream, they're going to yell, they're going to slam the door. Well, maybe you're not communicating with them in the right way. Maybe you need me to intervene and we're going to have a little mediation where you write down your issues, they write down their issues, and we'll mediate it just like I do when I work with businesses that are having issues with staff. Because you need to see it from the other person's perspective. You need to talk to them non-judgmentally. Perfect world. Once a week, you and your child have day or date night. And I know people have 3 or 4 kids. Well, fine. Then on weekends, when you do grocery shopping, take turns. This week, one child goes with you and you're going to go to lunch, a nice lunch, and then you do the grocery shopping and you can sit and talk. You can tell them about the mistakes you made so that they learn by your example. You don't want them to go through the hell you've gone through. Talk to them. It's okay. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of, I care enough to open up to you and tell you about the screw-ups I've made, my mistakes, so you don't repeat them. And you listen to them non-judgmentally. My son knew he could come to me at any point in time and say, Mom, we need to talk, and I'm not going to yell. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it and we're going to work it out together. And that holds true to this day, and he's 44 years old. It's all about open, honest communication, but you have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to understand through the eyes of a child, things are 1,000,000 times worse than we think they are. And that's okay. And let them know that it's okay. Let them know it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. If they're afraid, if they're sad, do not tell. This just pisses me off beyond belief. Don't tell your child, oh, you don't have anything to be sad about. Oh, please, get over it. You don't know pain. You don't know worry. You don't know problems. No, don't pull that shit. Because in the eyes of a child, what they're going through is huge. Be empathetic, understanding. Give them a hug. Hold them, squeeze them, and say, look, it's going to be okay. Let's talk this through. We can get through this. Or, oh yeah, I remember that. I went through that once. Let's talk it over. It's going to be okay. Think of the biggest problem going on in your life right now. And if somebody came to you, gave you a hug, held you tight and said, it's okay. It's okay. We got this. We're going to sit down and figure it out, and together we're going to fix it. How would that make you feel? I mean, the weight of the world would be off your shoulders. Doesn't your child deserve that as well? Sorry, this was a little bit in your face. Sometimes it needs to be.